Back from the dead. Victim's hologram asks Amsterdam for help in solving her murder case. Welcome to Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's true crime podcast. Podcast where we delve into some of the world's most perplexing mysteries, unsolved crimes, haunting cold cases. Visitors to Amsterdam's famous red light district this week will see a startling new face among the brothel windows and displays that line the streets. A life-size hologram of a 19-year-old woman sitting on a stool and peering out at passersby to ask them for help. This is how Dutch police are appealing to the public to help solve the murder of a sex worker that has puzzled them for over 15 years. In 2009, Bernadette Betty Szabo, whose likeness is depicted in the hologram, was found dead in her workroom in the red light district, lying in a pool of blood, according to the Dutch National Police. She'd been stabbed dozens of times. Investigators couldn't solve the murder, and Szabo's death became a cold case, police said. For a decade later, Dutch investigators are convinced that witnesses who could shed light on the murder are still out there. It spurred them to launch a new awareness campaign for Szabo's murder. Police announced Friday, headlined by a hologram of the murder victim, asking the Amsterdam police to help solve her own case. Police force contacted Szabo's relatives before producing the computer visualization, it said. This is the first time we do something like this, and to be honest, we're a bit nervous. Benjamin van Gogh, coordinator of the Dutch police's Amsterdam Wanted and Missing Persons team, said in a news release. We want to do justice to Betty, to her family and friends, and to the case. Szabo grew up in poverty in Hungary and moved to Amsterdam to work as a prostitute when she turned 18, according to a file in her case on the Dutch National Police's website. She worked in De Wallen, the city's largest and most famous red light district, where brothels can legally operate. Two co-workers found Szabo dead in a workroom in February 2009. He'd given birth to a son months earlier. Although, of course, every murder case is terrible, Betty's story is particularly poignant in a number of ways, said Anne Dreijer Hemscherk, an investigator with the Dutch police. She was a young girl, just 19, who was robbed of her life in a horrible way and who didn't have an easy life before she died. Investigators interviewed witnesses and reviewed security footage, but were ultimately unable to solve Szabo's murder, according to Dutch police. But they are still hoping that someone among Amsterdam's population, or the millions who pass through the city, one of Europe's most popular tourist destinations every year, has information that could point to a culprit. Betty was murdered in one of the busiest areas in Amsterdam, maybe even in the Netherlands, Dreijer Hemscherk said. It is really almost impossible that there are no people who saw or heard something unusual at the time. For the outreach, Amsterdam police made the holographic representation of Szabo using 3D visualization technology, something they have not used before, according to the news release. Dutch police also set up screens on a house in the red light district that displayed descriptions of Szabo, her background, and her death. Images of Szabo in a documentary about her case, according to the news release. Next to them, another screen shows Szabo's life-size hologram sitting and gazing out at the red light district like she might have when she was alive. The hologram occasionally gestures to passersby and appears to approach the glass of the screen. When it does, the holograph Szabo breathes on the glass, causing it to appear to fog up and reveal a handwritten message. Help. It is difficult to determine what it takes to get possible witnesses in this case to share their information with us, Van Gogh said. This type of case, we always try to put a face on a victim. Let informants know who they're doing it for. The hologram is a way of taking this a step further. Thank you for listening. This has been Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's True Crime Podcast. Available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.